Hello and welcome to Africa Today. I am Fadishola Shotingwa. In a world where the ballot box often serves as the currency of accountability, Nigeria is bracing up for one of Africa's most important elections, where democratic process would be put to test in just about 2 years from now. These are the days of political realignments and fine-tuning party strategy ahead of a matchup between the incumbents' need to hold on to power and the opposition's move to take over. This edition of Africa Today features an exclusive interview I had with a Nigerian politician in Ogun State, southwest Nigeria. We take that clip after this report and I will return to wrap up the show. Welcome on board.
Through the years, Nigeria's federating units have felt the nature of the union has left them shortchanged. Indeed, this feeling of neglect and discontent has bred rebellion against the Nigerian states. This comes in form of protests against alleged marginalization and in extreme cases, calls for secession. In spite of the reluctance of the All Progressive Congress-led government to make any move in this direction, calls for restructuring have become louder. More and more prominent Nigerians are making their voices heard.
The foundation of what is called Nigeria is faulty, is wrong. He said if the foundation is wrong, what superstructure, what can you put on it?
Should the nation embark on another political reform conference or simply implement the recommendations of the 2014 National Conference? The government may have not shown thus far a willingness to restructure the nation, but that has not in any way quietened the cause. The debate looks like it will go on until the government weighs in with a definitive position on the matter.
Hello and welcome. I'm having an exclusive interview with a guest. He's no other than Otumba Rotimi Paseda. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Now, we're going to be discussing the state of the nation and your gubernatorial aspirations. How would you assess our nascent democratic dispensation from 1999 till date?
Well, mixed feelings. We need to be very thankful that we've come this far. In the last 18 years, it's been very eventful. We've graduated from 0 to, I would say, maybe 60%.
That's a pass mark.
And that's a pass mark. But in saying that, I think we still have a very, very long way to go. Because if we don't nip what the problems we're facing right now in the bud, it's going to come back and erode all the progresses that we've made thus far. And it all hinges on leadership. The people that are there to correct, nurture, develop, and provide the right platform for the nation to grow.
Indeed, you mentioned problems that the country has been experiencing. And in all of these problems, something has come up with a lot of people clamoring for restructuring of the country. What are your perspectives on restructuring?
The call for restructuring is a little bit late in coming. It should have come years and years and years before now.
But it's better than never.
Absolutely. But a lot of people don't understand. The people say restructure. Mm-hmm. Quite a lot of people don't understand what they are restructuring or what is there to restructure. If you ask 80% of the population what they mean, they will tell you Nigeria divide. Let the Eastern, go their way. That's what a lot of people see. But that's not what we're looking at. Nigeria must remain one. But what we're saying is let's have complete independence regionally, not state this time around. Regional independence. You make your own laws, you fix your own taxes, you develop at your own pace, you have your own educational policies and all that. It's the best thing. It worked for us in the first republic. It worked fine. The development was going on. But the issue here is you will find that if we're going to be very honest with each other, a lot of people that are talking about restructuring are only paying lip service to it because they're the ones that this restructuring will either remove from office, shut or keep. So for those who know that the process of restructuring will remove them, they will pay lip service to it, but they work against it on the ground. And that is what is happening now. We would have gone a lot further than this if they were genuinely clamoring for it and genuinely working for it. For example, when we talk about regional development or regional governance, what happens to the state governors? We're talking about going to election 2019. Or the local government. People like us are saying, we want to go into election, we want to contest, we want to be the governor of Ogun State come 2019. But if, perchance, if the restructuring were to take place, what happens then? You see, quite a lot of people wouldn't want it to happen because it wouldn't favor them. But it's not about individuals or a select group of people. It is about our dear country. We don't have any other one, only this one, and we must make it work.
Indeed we should. Let's look at the opposition politics in Nigeria. What are your thoughts on the opposition?
Do we have one? I don't think so. We used to have one.
We have a main one.
We have a main opposition that is silent and has been kept mute.
No, I don't think we can easily say that.
Well, I think so. You see, look, the people that are supposed to talk, that can talk from the opposition, have one issue or the other. And in order to make that issue go away, they keep quiet. So the only way you can really operate in this kind of climb is to make yourself less of a threat and perhaps make sure that you are in a position where you're not vulnerable or your vulnerability is very reduced. If you have any issue with EFCC and you're in the opposition, you need to just change your party and go to the, and then that's it. It goes away. Or they sweep it under the carpet until the next government comes over and says, look, you have to go back and defend yourself. So that's the problem we have.
You just said we don't have opposition parties in Nigeria. Recently, 21 new political parties have been registered under INEC, and it brings to the total number of parties in Nigeria to 67. How much of a concern is that to you?
It's not so much of a concern. I think it's a benefit. It's a good thing. I see it as positive because we're talking about independent candidacy, which I doubt if they would allow to work for personal reasons and for selfish reasons. But there is opposition and there is political parties. A political party does not necessarily mean that it's an opposition or a viable opposition because they don't talk. The good thing about the increase in the number of political parties, it means that for those who can do it, qualified to do it, but don't have the money bag, have a shot at it because they can go to any party and contest. Right now you need a platform to contest, which is wrong. So the more the merrier. If, for example, you are in a political party and you are very good, people know that you can deliver, but the political party for whatever reason, godfatherism or favoritism and all that, they refuse to give you the ticket. But you're good and you can deliver. You can just pick up any of those political parties and pick up the ticket and give it a shot. So I'm looking at a situation where if they allow it to continue or exist, a situation where people will be winning a gubernatorial election or a senatorial election with a third of what they used to win. Like I'm thinking, come 2019, the person who's going to win the governorship election of Ogun State will probably do it with less than 50,000 votes, as to the 300 or 400 odd thousands that last election was to win.
Why do you say so?
Because what's going to happen is personality will come into play. There's the money bags, there's the personality. Some can put the two together, but they don't have a platform. So let's say, for example, you are from a particular locality. You're good. They know you. You can win. You have the followership, but you don't have the money, right? You can now face the money bag because for those who like you, they will divide the votes. The votes will be divided. It's not winner takes it all anymore, which is the beautiful thing about it. I think we don't even have enough political parties. We need to have a lot more so that a lot more people, credible people, can feel confident enough to go out and challenge the status quo. That's my take on it.
All right, you contested in 2015. You are going to contest again in 2019 under the platform of the UPN, which is the Unity Party of Nigeria. The Unity Party of Nigeria has a track record. Now, it was one of the main opposition in Nigeria in 1973, headed by Chief Awolowo. 38 years later, is this an offshoot of that party, or is this a new party entirely?
Well, I got involved in bringing back, resuscitating the old UPN. It's the exact same thing, word for word. Nothing's changed. The only thing is we picked up the old party constitution and reprinted it. We have not changed anything, except one thing, which is very odd. When we were trying to register the party, we were told that we're not allowed to use the name Awolowo in the constitution. It was very strange.
In the constitution of the party?
Of the party.
Why?
Apparently, it personalizes the party. You know, I can understand that. But the old constitution had that name in it. So things have changed. I got involved because that's the only party that has complete ideology that's needed to move our country forward. We've done it in the past, it worked for us. So if we can only bring it back and find a way not to be a lone voice. I am the financier of the party, and it's like a lone voice in the wilderness. I don't mind, because at the end of the day, it's only a matter of time. It's the same UPN of the first republic. It's the same UPN that Baba Awolowo registered. You know, it's his party that he registered. The same values, the same principles, the same. We're just being cautious as to who we relate with.
Otumba Rotimi Paseda, we'll take a quick break now and be back shortly. Do stay with us. Glad to have you back. Otumba Paseda, from your antecedents and track record, you seem to have a vision to govern the gateway state, Ogun State. What void do you intend to fill in terms of deliverables of democracy?
There's quite a few. First of all, we need to be clear about something. It's not that the current dispensation is not doing what they should. They're not doing enough, or the way they're delivering it, the way it's being delivered is a bit short. That's the issue here. If the right thing is being done and people are getting what they should get, because all this is about them. The resources belongs to the people, and whatever it is that we're using the resources for must be to their benefit, first of all. So if things are done properly, if in an ideal state, nobody would even dream of contesting, because you say, well, why do you want to change? It's good enough, and then you toe the line. But the way things are being done, first, it's too elitist. That's one thing, and it's also man no man. If you don't know anybody, you're as good as dead. That's just the bottom line. From the health services, yes, we talk about, in my state, you would hear some people say, we have free health. How? They have an insurance scheme that not everybody can access. Yes, the current dispensation means, well, they want to provide free health per se, but the advices and the way it's being put down, it's not right. We need to go back and design a system that would work for our people, not what works for other countries or other people. We're very peculiar. And if we take health, for example, there's no reason why we have to go the route of health insurance, okay? Contributory health insurance. The government pays a part and the citizen pay a part. That's wrong. We don't have, see, the majority of the people that need to access these health services can't afford it. That's the bottom line. That's why I said it's too elitist. They make these policies, but they forget that the same person that you're expecting to contribute is a driver, who is earning 15, 20,000 and have kids at school. We talk about the educational system. They say in my state that education is free. How can it be when you have to pay registration fee? You have to pay, there are so many hidden fees that you pay that makes it impossible for that woman who sells rice on the street to send their kids to school, and then we call it free. These are things, and you know, the funds are coming from the central, and it's coming to the state, and the state now decides how they want to spend it. In most cases, what is being spent on does not directly benefit the people that owns the resources in the first place. Let's look at that driver, the security guard, those that really need this help. How can you expect somebody who earns 15,000 to go to the hospital and have to pay 10,000? From where? Where's the others? Where's the food? Where's the transportation? And even the minimum wage that's been spoken about, it's not enforced.
The current minimum wage is still 18,000. How do you relate with that?
That's what I'm saying. It's wrong. It's impossible. My minimum wage of my staff is 50,000. Even then, it's not enough because they can't really survive on that, let alone, exactly. They have to take transport to get to work. They have to take transport back home. Christmas time, they still have the same duties and responsibilities that we have. They have too, because they are somebody's dad, somebody's son, somebody's brother. So, and husband and all that responsibilities. When somebody is sick in their home, they look at them, oh, you are on a higher salary, you help us out. So they have the same challenges that we have. But we now make these policies forgetting who we're making it for, because you are ex-Harvard. Hey, it doesn't work here. We have to look at our system. So from health to education to infrastructural development, everything needs to be addressed. We need to ensure that the policies benefit the majority rather than the masses, rather than the minority, because the minority don't need those policies. They will get things done with or without the government assistance or whatever.
There has been a clamor for youth engagement in politics. There has even been a bill passed to that effect. So what are your plans for the youth in terms of education, empowerment, and possible increased participation in politics?
Okay, I would say increased participation in governance. In governance, because politics, it's not the end, it's not the target, but in governance. First of all, this issue of engaging youth and empowering them and letting them come in, reducing the ages and all that. I keep saying something. There's a lot of lip service involved. You say you've dropped the age limit, and you say you want the youth to contest. All well and good. But you've now locked the door and thrown the keys away. Now, how are they going to contest? They need a platform to contest. The very same people that says, yes, you can, I will not give them the opportunity to do so, because they will not give them the ticket. Which is why I'm so happy that we now have extra political parties in place that would allow the youth to exercise their talents. We have fantastic, educated and brilliant students, youth in Nigeria that can do things, but they're never given the opportunity. So what I decided to do, we sat down with our national chairman and the national secretary and the party leaders, and we decided, you know what, if we're going to make a change, we're going to have to take a step back. Forget the fact that we're the executives of the party. We're going to step back completely. And we're going to give the party to the youth. So we now decided that let's start with a small niche. And that small decides and determines the success or failure of a state, which is state assembly. So we now said only the youth would be given the ticket to go to the state assembly. That means you've got to be 35.
Ogun State has existed for over 40 years now, and it's ranked the 9th in terms of GDP in 2010. So how do you think the human and natural resources in the state can best be put to use?
We have to give credit to what they've done so far. The current dispensation, like I said, I don't play politics like
Lip service.
I don't do that. I've got to say what I feel, what's correct. I'm not a member of their political party, but I'm not talking about political party, I'm talking about individuals now. The current governor of the state, he got it right. He got that right. He went and he targeted the fact that we need to increase our IGR. He went and picked a team that could do it. And he understands the fact that the proximity of Ogun State to Lagos is such that we should be matching them 90%.
Indeed.
And he identified that, which is good. And we started increasing our internally generated income, which was good for us. But what do we do with that income? That's my problem. It's good we're increasing it, but how is it being divided? What's it being used for? So we have so much potential, so much more. We haven't even scratched it, but there are some things that needs to be changed, which I would definitely change. Multiple taxation. Yes, we must pay tax, but multiple taxation. You get taxed on Okada indirectly because they tax the rider passes on to us. We get taxed on the food that we eat, the water that we drink. Everything that we do, that we use, is subject to multiple taxation, which is wrong. So if the current dispensation, within the very short space of time that they are there, can kickstart a process of changing that. People like us, when we get there, we will just...
wrong. Isn't that what obtains? Isn't that
No.
best practices?
No, not at all. There's something called it depends on your income. You are assessed based on what you have, what you earn. You can't say you can't just give a blanket tax bill. You go to the market. Everybody on that line must pay the same amount of money, and they go on a weekly basis of money and charge. But the guy there is selling pepper, that one is selling lace, that one is, you can't, because they're on the same stall, you can't expect them to pay the same thing. There's a vulcanizer, somebody sells pure water. It can't be. So it has to be means tested. That was the word I was looking for. It has to be means tested. You've got to have the means to pay it before you are levied it. It's all a matter of re-engineering, prioritization. There's one thing that is wrong in our governance. There's winner takes it all, winner decides it all, sole proprietorship, sole directorship. You are the governor, you are the Lord, the master, and the God. That's wrong. What happens is you will sit down and you will think and say, I'm the governor. My priority is construction. My priority is roads. Yeah. So I'm going to pop so much money into that.
This sector?
To that sector. That sector. So it's not because we cannot afford free education. It's just that we're putting too much money into something else at the expense of the other. So you have to have your values and your priorities right. Our priority is free education. Yes, we can afford it. It's just a matter of cutting our coat according to our size and cutting some unnecessary constructions and development that we don't need yet. We're going to get there, but we don't need it, not just yet. Even in the civilized countries like the UK, the US, they have 2-lane roads and they still maintain it. In Ghana, they have 2-lane roads. They keep it up to scratch and it's serviceable and it's maintainable until they get to the point where, they need to make it 5. I think we have our values warped in our country. We put physical structure ahead of human structure. I think that's wrong. Even in those countries that we're trying to copy, they took care of their people first. Social security, welfare, they took care of that. Then they are now able to concentrate on the development. We have it the the other way around, and that's the crux of our problem.
Otumba Rotimi Paseda, it's been a great pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Well, politics in Africa continues to come of age with a more politically conscious electorate ready to take their destinies in their hands by raising the standard for leaders to either step up or be shown the way out via the ballot. In Nigeria, latest developments ahead of the 2019 general elections are only a sign of things to come, where a viable opposition remains necessary for democracy to grow. That's been a package for today, but don't forget to join the conversation on Twitter using the handle @TVCNewsNG, and also follow me for updates around Africa at Fadeshola TVC News. Until the next one, I am Fadeshola Shotingwa, and always remember, change starts with you.